Hey guys, so I have today a guest speaker that really does not need an introduction. Her name is Minal Sampat, and she's an international best-selling author of her book, Why Your Marketing is Killing Your Business and What to Do About It. She's a national speaker, she's a marketing strategist, she's also a licensed registered dental hygienist, and she's a marketer like myself working with dental practices. She's been featured in Forbes, in Huffington Post, and Dentistry IQ, and many other places. Today, we are talking about how to build the right kind of marketing strategy for your dental practice. And in our interview, we went deep into very practical things that you could be doing within your practice to be building a marketing strategy. So, without further ado, let's dive into the interview with Minal. Hi, Minal. Thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be on YouTube and chatting with another marketing woman. Like that's awesome. That's this is what I live for. So I'm super excited to be here.
I'm super excited to have both of us sort of like dental marketers on here. I'm sure we're going to be talking about quite a bit of different things, but today Minal is going to be talking about marketing strategies, how to build a marketing strategy. And I think we're going to go around dental practices and whatnot. So why don't you introduce yourself, Minal, to us? Why don't you tell us about your background, your story, all that good stuff?
Sure. Well, I was born in India, raised in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Went to school in New Jersey, which is on the Northeast. I currently live in Washington State, so I'm kind of a all over person when it comes to it. I like my clients call me woman of the world because my phone number is in Florida, but I'm living in Washington, but my email is coming up to me in New Jersey. So it's a cool place to be alive right now where everything could be so easily digitalized. And yeah, I am a marketing strategist. I am a dental hygienist. I'm a social media coach, a best-selling author, and well, I love shoes. So an enthusiastic shoe lover.
Well, I same here. So that's fantastic. So
Yeah, and I started my first marketing company in 2013 by breaking a Guinness World Record. That's how we launched it. And then, so now I have multiple, and here I am today.
fantastic, Minal. I love your background. I had already heard about you as I was telling you before this, and I heard your first presentation at the Digital Dental Marketing Conference when the pandemic sort of started. This around, I think it was April or May that occurred. That it went virtual instead of having it um, live in person, which was really interesting. I think that a lot of the speakers actually got a lot of exposure, rather than how it was held before. So that was quite interesting. So Minal, why don't we get started with building a marketing strategy? How to?
Well, I think a lot of the times well, here's how this works. Majority of my clients, I would say on average, all my clients see a 20% decrease in their marketing expenses. So, as a marketing strategist, my job is not to build your website. My job is not to build your SEO. What my job is to take a look at everything you're doing and to help you create a marketing plan that is going to work for your practice.
Mhm.
Now, so what I want to start with saying right now is that because I don't sell you a product of any kind,
Mhm.
what I say is completely unbiased, and what I say, I don't take any referral money. So any recommendations I give you, you get all the perks.
Mhm.
Now, the reason I'm mentioning that is because if you're doing your marketing right now, so anybody who's listening this, watching this, look at your marketing budget, and 20% of that could be reduced. Doesn't matter if you're spending $2,000, $20,000, $100,000, 20% of that can be reduced easily while you're increasing your production.
Mhm.
And the way to do that, the way to work on a marketing strategy to do that is clearly the first thing to do is you need to start seeing what is working for you and what is not.
Yeah, doing an audit,
Um,
pretty much. Mhm.
there is an audit, but there is a bigger part of that audit. The issue that happens is everybody thinks that all marketing works for all practices.
Mhm.
So here's where the difference lies, right? And I'll be the first one to say all marketing sucks, and all marketing works. My book is called Why Your Marketing is Killing Your Business. and what to do about it. So I am not a marketing strategist who's going to come in and say, you need 20 other marketing stuff. You don't. You really just don't. You only need the marketing that's going to help you connect with your ideal audience. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So while you're focused on trying to get on TikTok right now, my question to you is your ideal audience on TikTok?
Oh, that's so good. Because I was just going to ask you about TikTok. I wanted to ask you about that because from my end, I'm getting a lot of questions from dentists and clients right now as to whether they should be getting on TikTok and spending time on there. And always my answer has been, you don't need to. Like, you don't need to be on all social media platforms, as same as I think your answer was going to be. You need to be on the ones that are going to have the biggest impact. And that is usually where your target audience is hanging out online. And so if they're not on TikTok, forget TikTok. So,
Right. And if you are a pedo practice,
right.
if you're an orthodontic practice, get on TikTok. Then I'll
Exactly.
be like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now on LinkedIn? Like, go on TikTok, go be there. So
Got
it is very powerful to choose the right platforms to do that. Now, something that I do, so that's one part of it, right? So there is a whole strategy. I mean, you have to figure out what's working for you, what's not working for you. Then
okay.
you have to choose the platforms that actually your ideal audience are on. But now we go to the ideal audience. Who is your ideal audience? And when we talk to, let's say, a GP practice, we're usually going to get, well, everybody. We see all patients. So everybody's my ideal audience. I want to see from age 2 to 9 years old. Like, I want to see everybody. Well, that's literally 5 different generations you want to see. That is the way you're going to market to a millennial is very different than the way you're going to market to a baby boomer,
Yeah.
than to a Gen Z. So it's not just enough knowing that, okay, I have this platform for my ideal audience. You literally have to break down your ideal audience. And I, create this with my clients where we build avatars and we name them and we do different things to bring it to reality. But so much of the marketing is not what you do, is how you do it.
Yes. So, Mina, let's just recap. So, number one is you need to know what's working and what's not working, right? So, it's not just an audit, it's more about understanding sort of like the overall marketing strategy, or how would you go about understanding what's working and what's not working
Numbers,
in terms of, so your metrics, pretty much.
just your metrics, just your numbers. Just look at your numbers. Because, like I said, 20% of what you're doing in your marketing right now, the budget is going to be decreased.
Okay. I really want to get into that in just a second. I'm very much a data person, so I love that. Okay, so number one is understand what's working and what's not working. And number two is know your ideal patient avatar, pretty much is what you're saying. And according to that, then number three is you're going to choose your social media platforms based on where your ideal patient avatar is. Okay, good stuff. So we
Absolutely.
have 1, 2, 3. I have a
Right.
question
And sure.
in terms of target market. So I get this question a lot as well. I work with a couple of oral maxillofacial surgery practices, and they have a bit of a dilemma, and it's the following. They normally have 3 or 4 services that they specialize in: wisdom teeth, corrective jaw surgery, dental implants, maybe 1 or 2 other, that's it. And the problem that they face a lot is they have completely different target audiences for each one of those services that they have to go after. So what do you have to say about that, and how would you approach it?
You need to have a different marketing plan for each audience.
Perfect.
You can't have one marketing plan and think everybody's going to work with that. It's not. And especially if you're a specialty like oral surgery, you're working very heavily on referrals. So you need to have a completely different marketing plan. Your marketing plan should be heavily reliant on referrals, and then after referrals, how you build your reputation online.
Mhm.
Because if I have to get a wisdom teeth pulled and my GP tells me go to this doctor, or here's the person that we recommend, I'm not just going to come to you.
Mhm.
Again, and that depends on which generation you're. If it's a boomer, they're just going to come to you because they trust and they have loyalty. If
Right.
it's a Gen Xer, they're going to look you up and they're going to be how flexible you are. Can you fit in their schedule? If it's a millennial like myself, I'm going to Google you and Facebook you and Yelp you, and I'm going to find out about you because I know that there are other people who could do the same job.
Right.
So again, it has to be a strategy that works with each audience, and it has to be a strategy that brings you your ideal new patient to come and see. There's different kinds of marketing. and the marketing that I focus on, that I love to do, is you need to be so good before they even see you in person. So what I'm saying is that your practice needs to be so good that before they even come to see you. Because by then, if they believe you, if they trust you, if they like you, if they love you, when they come inside that practice, they were already there for you.
Right.
That's when you actually change your entire verbiage, your entire messaging. And now when you say that you need X, Y, and Z treatment, and you're doing it authentically, like don't be that person who's just selling treatment to sell treatment. Those are not my clients. But let's say that you do have that. This is where it even helps you build a patient base who is going to be your ideal patient base. And when you explain to them and say, this is the treatment you need, they're not going to Google University. They're actually listening to you and they're saying yes. So
Oh, so
your
good.
marketing, yeah. So I think with all practices, and that's something where my clients literally double their new patient numbers as soon as we change from trying to talk about how good you are after they come to your practice, we focus on let's tell them how good you are before they even come to your practice.
Right.
By then, they want to come to you.
So how would that reflect, for example, on social media? So what would you say in terms of, okay, what do you need to start doing on social media to make sure that, when a referral tells you you need to go and see that oral surgeon, what does that oral surgeon need to reflect? What's the image on social media?
Oh, I mean, again, depending on what image their brand is.
Okay.
So, every oral surgeon is going to be different. There could be some which have the most beautiful practice in the world, which are very clean, which are very elegant in how they perform themselves, right? On how they, the kind of clientele that they want to bring in. Compared to that, there could be another practice that is a little bit casual, a little bit more fun, a little bit more relaxed. So your business has to have a personality.
Right.
And that's a personality that you need to show off online. And a part of that personality has to be an entire reputation campaign. So
Mhm.
here's a quick tip, anybody who's watching this, if you want a quick, like, what do I actually do as an action step? You need to share your reviews at least once a week. Once a week, there should be a new review going up from a patient.
Right.
So
You mean on social media?
mhm, it's a part of your content strategy. Yeah.
I'm here in Canada. There are some restrictions on that, depending on the province where you're at. Some of the orders here are a bit more strict, and right now they're actually coming down on some dentists, telling them you can't have reviews on your website, you can't be showing reviews on social media. So I think so if you're in the US, it's not as regulated, but in some places here in Canada it is, unfortunately, because I think that
So then what about a photo of a patient with a doctor? Can we share
you
that?
can, yes, you can, as long as the identity is not shown. But you're like,
Right.
there's ways around it. I'm just saying that I think it's fantastic to be able to share reviews, and to be honest, that's social proof for anyone, right? Any
Well,
patient.
I mean, a way around this is to have your patients share by themselves on their own pages.
Yes, absolutely. And then you just, yeah, exactly, and have them tag you. So, Minal, I just want to get back on track. We were talking about building marketing strategies. We talked about different steps, identifying what's working, what's not, having your ideal patient avatar created, selecting your social media platforms. What's next?
Well, you need to still have somebody who's going to manage this for you.
Yeah.
That comes down to the foundation and the core of it all. I am a firm believer that you need somebody inside your practice who's your marketing manager.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that they work with external marketing companies. That means that they work with other places, but they need to be in charge. It should be a job title, just how you have your hygienist and your front desk team and your dental assistant and your treatment coordinator. You need to have a marketing manager
Mm-hmm.
inside your practice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way. That's the only way you're going to see the kind of growth you want. And the kind of growth that I'm talking about is literally doubling your new patient numbers every year, staying consistent with that. I don't work with practices unless they have a marketing manager. Either they hire one or they have somebody that I can train. I don't work with practices otherwise. And the reason behind that is because the success that comes with having a marketing manager is just incomparable with somebody who just says, let's just work with an external company and call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only somebody working inside your practice knows you, knows your culture, knows who you are, as a brand, as a practice, and they are the only ones who can verbalize that. I can't do it. You can't do it. We can't do it because we don't live and breathe in that every day. So there has to be a system to it, and that's a system that I 100% um, completely believe in, completely think that's how you're supposed to do it. That's how I got started. I was a marketing manager for a very big practice, and that's how I got started. And because I was that person, now they have a team of 3 people instead of just, and now I'm their strategist and they have 3 people working like that. But if you have that, then it becomes your ideas go from ideas to reality. You
Right.
go from just let's do this marketing campaign to actually finishing a marketing campaign and
Absolutely.
looking at the conversion results.
Yeah. And I think you're 100% on something, because I mean, we work with different clients, some that do have someone that has been given the role, not necessarily has the marketing manager title per se, but maybe a treatment coordinator, someone like that has been given the role. And then we also work with clients that have no one. And what we see is it becomes extremely difficult for us to work with the clients that don't have someone specifically for us, let's say, where we could be the point of contact, right? Um, because dentists are busy. Let's face it, they're super busy. And when we have to communicate back and forth, and we need a decision to be made, or we need some feedback, or we need to know what's happening internally, just it's not happening as quickly as the other practices are. So I think I'm 100% on board with you on that one. And whether you decide to, do it internally, because also that's something else that can be done. Like if you have someone 100%, you could be doing it internally. I think as long as there's the correct marketing strategy put in place, I think a dental practice could say, okay, someone else is going to take care of that. Or ideally, if it's too big of a practice, then you're outsourcing some of that and then doing some of that internally. So like a hybrid sort of model. Mm-hmm.
So I present on something called the doable marketing plan. And in the doable marketing plan, I actually break down and I have the steps of what you should be doing internally and what you should be delegating outside. So, for example, websites, SEO, ads, Google ads, all of that stuff is a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that changes all the time. So if you have somebody who knows the basics of it, or somebody who doesn't have the time to be trained in how to do this right and to keep on top of it, you're then losing out.
Right.
So even if you have a marketing manager, you need to have a doable marketing plan where the marketing manager is now not somebody who's like, I don't know how to do SEO. And then you're like, just go online onto Google and take a class and do it. And they're like, oh, I
No,
don't know if I'm
it's
going to
not
be able
gonna
to do it.
happen. Mm-hmm.
So it's important to know what they're good at, what they enjoy doing, and then be able to let them do what they enjoy doing, and then to kind of delegate outside what you cannot do, what they cannot do, or what we know it's really important for us to be successful as a practice, but it's a professional's job
Mm-hmm.
to do it.
Yeah. And then what would you recommend that they do internally?
Oh, there's so much. There's everything from social media to internal marketing to community marketing to team marketing to literally working with the other outside external companies and working with them and getting things done and actually doing your new patient reports. I mean, there is, if people who have my book, it's chapter 5. In my book, it says teamwork, and it goes over so much of that stuff. So, absolutely, there's a lot in there
Okay.
that they can do. Trust me, it could be a 2 hours a week job or it could be a full-time job.
Okay. I think I need to get your book, Minal. I really do. Just to be able to say, go to my clients, go over chapter 5 right there. This is what I'm talking about.
It became an Amazon bestseller in Canada, so I'm assuming that some of the people may have it.
I'm assuming that as well. I'm sure they have heard of it, but I just want to have it in my hand. Be able to say, here.
Okay, here's the book, guys. It's green. It's Why Marketing Schooling Your Business. And then chapter 5, if you go to chapter 5, this is where it is. It says teamwork, not micromanagement. Just read that chapter. There is so much great information on not only about what you could do with a marketing manager, but how you actually establish it so you have a functioning team to help you with marketing inside.
Right. So just going back to the building a marketing strategy, I think we've gone through a number of different things, all the way from identifying what's working and what's not working, target audience, to who's going to actually implement it, right? Is there anything else that you would add to building a marketing strategy?
Yeah, I mean, you also want to leverage what's already working. So
Right.
what I usually see is people, let's say you have Facebook platform, and they would just say, "Oh, I have Facebook, so yeah, I'm just going to I'm just going to have some stock photos go up, or I have Instagram, but I'm not going to really go and do anything with Instagram or do Instagram stories or do any of that, or
Oh,
I have
really?
this, so yeah, so like that's what's going on. Like what I'm seeing a lot of right now is you just have platforms to have platforms.
Right. Yeah.
You're not leveraging them.
Yeah.
And when we don't leverage those platforms, that's a problem because that means that we are just wasting time on it. We are not trying to for conversions. I'll give you an example. For me, Facebook is my platform. What that means is that's where I am online. That's where when I make a post, I get 100 comments. That's when I
Right.
get daily clients. Like just right now, as you and I have been recording, I got two requests for a speaking engagement through Facebook as they message me.
Hmm.
Facebook is where my business thrives. I
Right.
have Instagram. I have LinkedIn. I have those. I even have TikTok, but that TikTok is for fun. Like it was just something that I was trying because my audience is not on TikTok.
Yeah.
But with Instagram, I have my team do it, and then I get in every day and I do something. I do a story or I'll do a reel or something like that. But I don't spend as much time on it simply because of the fact that my audience is really not there yet. My
Yeah.
audience is very heavy on Facebook. So choose a platform where your audience is heavier and then leverage it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Start using it correctly, start leveraging it, learn more about it, make sure you're putting time into it. Don't just do marketing or be on platforms to be on platforms,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's actually hurting the logarithm, and that means that the logarithm is actually pushing your page down. And they're so now when you start to do something, we have to work twice as hard and pay money into ads to even just bring you back up to a level where they can compete with your other competition.
But I mean, that brings
So
a really good point, which I wanted to sort of discuss with you, which I've been seeing and I've been trying to advocate not to do this, which is I see a lot of what I call generic, very sort of like canned content going on dental practice accounts, especially on Instagram. And I've been trying to advocate to not go that route where, and I actually see the same thing used on so many different social media accounts. It's the same flossing meme, the same little joke, and I'm just like, so it goes back to your point of sort of like just being there to be there, whether they're doing it themselves or just like paying a company to do that, to be there. Obviously, there's no sort of like set goals, objectives. They're not leveraging social media. And I'm such an advocate to stop that. And I would rather they stop that than continue posting something that's going to get them nowhere and that might even affect their reputation a bit, you
oh
know?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I had a client the other day, a potential client, reach out to me, and they were freaking out because they just realized that the practice down the road was sharing the same content on them, and it turned out that they were working with the same company, and well, it's the same content on all the pages, but it's the same thing. Now again, if you're a marketing manager, it becomes their job
Right.
to develop, curate, execute the content for you and distribute it.
Yeah,
So you won't ever have any other content that looks like yours because it's your content.
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, don't just do social media to do social media. Do social media with intention. Do it so that you have conversions. If you're not doing conversions, it's just a waste of time.
I am so on you on that one. So talking about conversions, let's talk about conversions and ROI and a bit of metrics. Um, in your experience, then how does a dental practice really accurately measure ROI on online marketing? What's the best way?
There is only one way to measure ROI on marketing, and that's new patient numbers.
Mhm.
There is nothing else that measures ROI on when it comes to money, direct money.
Right,
Clearly, there is brand awareness, and clearly, there is
right.
engagement, and
Mhm.
clearly, there is social media trends, and clearly, there is going viral, right? So, all of those things are there.
Mhm.
They're all there and they all matter. Brand awareness matters, but you're doing brand awareness to get new patients.
Yeah.
You're doing it. So the only metric that ever matters is how many new patients you have and how many new patients are coming in.
Right.
So I am a firm believer in being realistic about things. So clearly, when you do video online, not every video is going to get you a new patient.
Yeah.
That's not how this works. But what you want to do is you want to see where you are. You want to create a goal on where you want to be. And then you want to create about 5 or 6 different marketing channels. And
Mm-hmm.
then you want to see how you're going to reach that goal with those 5 or 6 marketing channels.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have those 5 or 6 marketing channels, then you start evaluating those 5 or 6 marketing channels and see which one is the ones that's bringing you the most conversions.
Mm-hmm.
And which ones do you frankly just need. So for example, you are like, you know what, we're getting most of our new patients are coming up from Google reviews. So, reviews are something that's working really heavily for you. So if that's something working really heavily for you, then you need to make sure that you have a very good review system. And how do you leverage that?
Right.
Right? You know that your social media ads are not doing anything for you. Like you have them and you have people who are connecting with you who have zero chance of being your new patients, or the stuff that I absolutely hate when I see it is all these free giveaways that people do on social media. Um, you're going to get a gift card every day, you're going to do this every day. That's Groupon. You're trying to attract people that are in it for the freebies.
The wrong kind
And
of patient. It's not the right
the
kind of patient.
raw, yeah, exactly. And I see so many companies doing that, and I always have to kind of step back and be like, why? I mean, are you that desperate for popularity and attention that like, instead of that, forget the quantity game, focus on the quality game.
Yes.
And if you focus on the quality game, there are so many ways that you are able to simply look at those numbers and get things to work for you. I'll give you an example. One of my smaller practices, so two doctors, one location practice, their budget, their marketing expenditure was decreased by 30,000, and their production was increased by 200,000 in 9 months.
Wow.
Wow. So while they were decreasing their marketing outreach, they were increasing their production. And all of that simply happened because of the fact that we literally tuned in on what their ideal patients would want from them.
Mm-hmm.
What is it and how it is that they can connect with them. And
Mm-hmm.
as soon as we tuned into that, and again, people are like, well, you do this something. I got to tell you that the owner of this practice is a boomer. So it's not like I walked in and I'm like, you're going to be on TikTok and that's how you're going to get new patients. Like, he's not doing TikTok. It's not happening. So you have to create, you have to meet where your patients are. You have to meet them there, and you have to show that you are a valuable practice to be there. And this is a fee for service practice, so
Yep.
they don't take insurance. So you have, like I said, it has to be. There's a lot that goes into it, but the only real way to measure the metrics when it comes to if your marketing is working is how many new patients you have.
Right.
And then after that, break it down, how much money you're spending on marketing, what is the conversion rate, all of those numbers come after. That's all bullet points. But the
Correct.
bottom line is this.
Yeah, it's the bottom line. Period. That it's the bottom line, as you say it. Um, Something that you mentioned that caught my attention is the following. It's something that I've been talking to some of my colleagues about. It's putting your face out there, the face of the doctor, the dentists in the practice. People don't want to buy from a brand or a logo. They want to buy from a person. So I think it's really important to, you know, tell dentist, owner dentist, you need to put yourself out there because that's gonna work. You need to put some photos of yourself. You need to do some video, like the content creation part of thing. You have to be appearing, front and center, let's say, in some of the content that is being created, because that's what's gonna work, right? And you have to get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. That's something that I was talking with a colleague of mine, and how important it is, because it's all, I think it's coming back to a lot of the personal branding and people wanting to come to a dental practice, not so much because your clinic looks amazing, but because of the dentist, the doctors, and the team there. So that applies also to the team as well. So I don't know what's been your experience with that, when sometimes,
Yeah.
some people want a bit more like stay in the back and not appear front and center.
Well, I mean, the first word in Facebook is face. They're not even joking. They're not even trying to like give you the wrong answer or trying to trick you. They literally tell you Facebook. It needs to
Right.
have a face.
Yeah.
Now, the part that I differentiate with you on that is I don't like people who are uncomfortable to be uncomfortable online
Mm.
because the energy comes through. You could see
Right.
that. Clearly, they can do it if they enjoy it. If they
Right.
enjoy it, they're going to do it more and they're going to do it organically. But if you tell somebody who absolutely hates it
No,
and
of
doesn't
course
want to
not.
do it, then it's not going to work. But what you do need is you do need a face for your brand. So if it's not going to be you, and you should always be you, but if it's not going to be you, let's be realistic. I do have some clients which are just like, no, this is not my cup of tea. I'm not going online. I'm not doing videos. This is not what I do. That's totally fine. Let's get you somebody inside your practice. Again, a marketing manager would help. Get somebody inside your practice who's an extrovert, who's outgoing, who likes to talk. Let them be your brand ambassador.
Right. So
So,
just going back to, I just want to give you an example of what we've done with one of our clients. We started doing a live show pretty much. So every month it's an Ask Me Anything show and on Facebook Live. So at the beginning, they were the ones who actually proposed it to me. But one of them is a bit shyer. And he was uncomfortable with being live, right? So he was a bit uncomfortable, but he knew that he wanted to do that because it was something that was going to get them so many more views. So we went ahead and so we've done it every single month. And now he's such a pro, Minal. It's unbelievable. He's just like, he goes at it. He's like even better than his partner. And
I
that's
love
what I
it.
mean. What I mean, like, yes, he was very uncomfortable at the beginning, but then as he got, every single month into it, it's just been like night and day.
Yeah,
So
consistency again, if it's
yes,
consistency and once they get over that fear, it always helps. It
absolutely.
always helps.
Absolutely. So, Mina, I did want to talk about something that I thought was super interesting that you mentioned during your presentation, the one that I watched, and it was all around content creation and repurposing of content. And so I would love for you to shed some light on that.
Sure. I think that content is clearly the king. We all know that. We all keep hearing that content is king. So, like I said, it's not what marketing you do, is how you do that marketing.
Mhm.
And the how part breaks down into the content you share, the way you connect with people, the way you. So here's a perfect example. I'm a dental hygienist. And usually the dental hygienist, any of the team members' bios that you read online would read something like, this is Minal Sampat. She went to school at X, Y, and Z. She grew up here. She got her dental hygiene license from X, Y, and Z. She's been practicing for X amount of years. On her spare time, she likes to go for long walks on the beach and cooking with her family.
Mhm.
That's the same exact layout that we see everywhere. Where do they go to school? A little couple of things about their personal life, right? And then a photo that's like something like that. Um, so here's another way of doing it, the way that I like to do it, the way that I teach to do it, which is probably what you saw in my content lecture. Let's change the verbiage. So instead of that, let's say there is a video of Manal. So this is Manal. She's a video. This is on your Facebook or your website, wherever. Get to know Manal landing page. And hi, my name is Minal Sampat. I was born in India and I was raised in the U.S. Virgin Islands. One of my favorite things to do is I love to laugh. I'm just one of those people that has a big belly laugh, like you could just hear it from the other room that I'm laughing. And I love to smile. I'm a happy, happy person. But when I'm looking at my photos from my childhood, I am not smiling big. I am not laughing loud. You see, I had black spots on my teeth. The reason I'm a dental hygienist today is so that I can make sure that every child can smile big and can laugh loud. I understand what it means to be happy and to show how happy you are. I look forward to treating you and meeting your family.
Oh,
And
love
then
it.
under the
So good. It's such
okay.
a emotional storytelling moment. It's so great. It's such a good
Well,
connection
thank you.
there.
And then after that, you have bullet points of where I went to school and how long I've been
Right.
practicing.
But
Because you
that's
see,
the point.
people are not looking for that stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's a given. Like, if you're a dentist, we hope you went to a dental school. Like, if you're a hygienist, we hope that you're trained to be a hygienist. We
Yeah.
hope that you have some experience. That does not mean anything. What people connect with is people. People have, you know, our patients have a past, a present. They have a story to tell. They have their own likes and dislikes. So instead of looking at them as a patient, we have to look at them as humans. And
Hmm.
we have to look at our marketing as how do we humanize our marketing. So
Hmm.
once we start humanizing our marketing and we go from being a dental hygienist who cleans teeth to Manal that she's a dental hygienist because she wants to see people smile and laugh, that's the content you want to share.
Yeah.
That's the how of your marketing
Right.
that makes an impact, right? So that was the content kind of thing that I was talking. And then let's say you take that video and you can take that one video and you can chop it up into 10 different videos. You could take photos, screenshots of the videos, you can make it into more content. So once you are doing content, there's content redistribution, which means that you can always repurpose that content. And it's so powerful to do that. Because let's face it, we all hate creating content. It's time consuming. We have to be creative. We have to put it all together. Like it takes a lot from us.
It's
So
gotta be
I'm yeah, I like to leverage things and maximize them. So if I have one video, I want that video to be 20 different pieces of content.
That's me. I think my team knows that my favorite word is repurpose. Repurpose as much as you can. So I hear you
Absolutely.
on that. And that's so important also for dental practices. Same thing. They face the same challenges, the same resources, like the same time constraints. So it's the same thing pretty much. Mina, I wanted to start wrapping up. Did you want to add anything else in terms of how to build a marketing strategy?
No, like I said, start with a marketing manager.
Mhm.
I think that you kind of need to have somebody's job whose job it is to literally help you with marketing.
Mhm.
Without, before you even hire me or you or anybody else, you need somebody there who's going to make those ideas into reality. So if there is one tip that I'm going to give you in anything that you decide to do is to find that. And again, start with 2 hours a week.
Right.
It doesn't have to be something crazy. Start with 2 hours a week and see the progress.
Right. I have a question for you about something that you mentioned earlier, and it's how you go into a practice and you make sure that they decrease their marketing expenditure. So my question is related to budget. What do you think? Because I think there's a lot of debate around this. What should be a budget for marketing, and is it a percentage of billing, of annual billing? What do you think?
It should be a percentage of the collections
Okay.
because that's like the number that you want to make.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be collections. So it shouldn't be gross income or it shouldn't be that. That's what I look at it. I look at it as a percentage of collection. It depends on where you are in your marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and how big your practice is and how many locations you have and what your goals are. Like I have some new patients, some practices who are like, I just want 5 new patients. I have some who come in and be like, I want 50 new patients. Or we'll have startups who have 0 patients right now. So they need everything in marketing. So
Right.
your marketing percentages usually go anywhere between 2% to 10%, depending on where you are in your journey,
Right.
longevity of the practice, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on all of that. But I am also a firm believer that because we live in a digital age right now, those percentage are almost becoming obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
Because a company that is a multi-location company can get the same amount of brand awareness as a one practice, one location company.
Right.
You can spend $300 for ads for both of them, and they will both get the same amount of
I
awareness
agree.
given the targeting market.
Right.
So it's, I kind of like to stay away from percentages. It's there, it's been there, so it's there.
Right.
But the new way of thinking is to not follow the percentages, but to specifically follow, like I said, how do I connect with my ideal audience? And if I have to do Google AdWords for that, that's what I'm going to pay. And then Google AdWords will dictate to us how much we need to pay based on keywords and the
And
conversion
competitors.
rates and the competitors, right? So like I have practices in Midtown New York that like are overlooking Rockefeller Center, and then I have practice in like a small town in Montana that has nobody around them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
clearly it's going to be very different.
Yes. I
But here's the fun part. You could still spend $300 for the Montana practice and still spend $300 for the New York practice. So it's no longer the percentage. It's just, again, what you do with your marketing and how you do it.
Correct. Oh, I love everything that you just said, Mina. So I want to make sure that everyone knows how to find you, apart from your book, which we are getting. Um, how can my audience find you?
Sure. If you just go to minalsampat.com, which is MINALSAMPAT, go to minalsampat.com, you will actually see that when you go to my website, there is a option for you to schedule a no strings attached, just 30-minute strategy call if you want with me. I love to talk to people.
Mhm.
So reach out. There is no harm in that. Facebook me, Minal Sampat, become a Facebook friend. I am very active on my personal page. My business page is going to tell you to go to my Facebook group. That's all that's on my business page. To go to my Facebook group. That's where I am active. I'm active inside of that quite a bit and on my personal page. So please do that. And yeah, I have more programs coming out and more courses and things will be launched in 2021. So if you have
Amazing.
marketing managers who need help or who needs to be trained, let me know.
You're the person to go. Keep me posted on those new programs. I would love to
Oh,
find a bit more about those.
thank you.
Minal, I just want to thank you so much for being here today. We covered so many things. I loved everything that you brought to the table today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Hey, so wasn't that a great interview? Didn't you just learn so much from Minal? And I gotta say, I love the title of her book. Now, I am going to be giving you today a freebie that is very much pertinent with the topics I would discuss today, and that's the 4-step guide to online marketing for dental practices. Now, you could download it. I'm going to be dropping the link in the description of this video below. Also, please let me know if you do have any questions around just generally how to be building a marketing strategy for your dental practice. Now, I don't do this very often, but contact me if you do want to have a 30-minute free consultation if you're a dentist or a dental specialist. I'm going to be dropping the link as well in the description of this video. I will see you next time, same place. Bye for now.